Okay, we are live. I am here this morning with Val Geisler, who is an employee of ConvertKit. She has graciously agreed to join us here today to do a little bit of training on ConvertKit. ConvertKit is a mail service for those of you who have never used it. If you're familiar with MailChimp or something like that, it's a next step bigger, better type platform. I don't know if I'm allowed to say that, but
Yeah,
I'm
we
allowed
actually we say ConvertKit is like if MailChimp and Infusionsoft had a baby, it would be ConvertKit.
There you go. Okay, so
Yeah.
if Infusionsoft is way too intimidating and MailChimp is just too easy, then here you go. You got it right there. Um, I'm just gonna double check and make sure that okay, it's going live. Good. Okay,
Okay, good.
great. All right. So Val, if you don't mind, just before we get started into our little training session, can you give everybody, because you started off as a blogger, correct?
Yeah, absolutely. So my background is in blogging and running my own business online too. I actually started as a virtual assistant,
Perfect.
and I was just running a business online as a virtual assistant, and became a project manager in doing that. And that rolled into consulting and then producing some products and selling products through my email list. So
Awesome.
I have a couple of different products. I have a free email course called Gmail School that's about cleaning up your inbox. And I have a course that's called Growing with Groups, and it's all about marketing your business inside of Facebook groups. So
Cool.
I am very aware of all that it takes to grow and run your online business, especially when you're creating products or and even having services. I marketed my services all through my email list, and it was purely a referral-based business. I think I've in total 4 years spent like $100 in ads
Wow.
and never got anything out of it. So I just stuck with marketing my business through my email list. And
Yeah.
so yeah, absolutely. I am right there with you. I still run my business, still sell products to an email list, and work that way in conjunction with the work that I do at ConvertKit. I do all of the marketing side for ConvertKit. So I have a very meta job. I do all the email marketing for an email marketing company.
Yeah. Well, I'm really excited to learn about this because I think that I mean you hit the nail right on the head when you said that the email list is where it's at, especially if you're a solopreneur or selling a product, even just trying to bring more people to your blog. I know for me, with my blog, it's unique because I talk about everything from grief and loss of a child to social good type stuff. And for people who
Mhm.
come to my blog and sign up for information on having lost a child, I certainly don't want them to be on the same mailing list where they may wind up with, you know, stories about my other kids, or unless that's what they, also want to subscribe into. So I know
That's right.
when I started hearing about ConvertKit and the fact that you can tag and do all these fancy things so that you identify which types of emails people are getting. Is that correct? Is that something you can do?
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah,
But I
we'll go through all of that.
Okay, great. I will admit though, when I went into ConvertKit for the first time, now I'm used to using MailChimp, which I think is a great program for people who one, have smaller lists, and B, like have no idea how to do, like for me it's so easy because it's just plug and play and drop, and it's pretty it's easy to use. And I went into ConvertKit and I was like, ooh, not quite sure how to do this. So I'm so excited that you're going to show us.
Yeah, I'm going to talk you through a couple of different things. So actually what we'll go over today is how to grow your email list.
Yay.
And so it's always interesting to me. I do these webinars live on a regular basis, and people come and they have anywhere from 100 people or 0 people on their list all the way to 2,000, 5,000, 25,000. It doesn't matter how many people are on your email list.
Yeah.
We always say, like size doesn't matter. It's what you do with the list.
Yeah.
And I actually have a good friend who has what some would consider a small list. It's under 1,500 subscribers, and he runs a very successful business. He has a couple of people on his team, and he does that all with a very small list because his list is highly engaged. They are people on the list who want to be on the list and want to hear from him. So you can have a wildly successful business with a smaller list, but we're going to teach you today how to grow your email list and how to put these practices in place over and over again. So do you want me to dive into it?
Even better. Yeah, go for
Okay,
it.
let's see. How do I just want to make sure I can share my screen here. Okay, and then let me know if you can see my screen. Okay,
I
cool.
do. I see it.
So what we're gonna learn about today is how to get 1,000 email subscribers in 7 days. Does that sound like a good plan?
I'm down with that.
Okay, cool. So first thing first, though, I want to lay some ground rules a little bit here. So what everyone will learn today, and feel free to take notes because there's a lot we're going to go over. But what you'll learn in this next 45 minutes is a lot. It's how to get your first 100 email subscribers. And like I said, if you already have email subscribers, it's how to get your next 100, right?
Mm-hmm.
So this is a tool that we use every single day at ConvertKit, and it's something I'm going through right now as we go to the next level of growing our own email list. So I'll teach you that, and it'll remind me, since it's something I need to put into practice right now, how to get 1,000 email subscribers in 7 days. So once you've got that first 100 or your next 100, then how to get 1,000, how to take that to the next level. And then we'll talk about more ConvertKit specific things in this. We'll go over some automation rules that you can set up today inside of a ConvertKit account.
That sounds awesome. Val, do you mind if I interject something really quickly?
Please do.
So I wanted to, for any of those of you who may be listening or watching the replay of this, who have been working really hard on growing your Facebook or your other social media channels and wonder, why do I need to grow my email list if I already have, 20,000 Facebook followers? One of the things that I'm sure Val can get into more, but something that I've learned along the way and heard from a lot of the speakers in this summit is that you got to remember you don't own your Facebook or your Twitter, and those could go away at any point in time. And then what do you have? And also the people who actually subscribe to your list are your real fans. They're the ones that are more likely going to purchase your product. So if you're sitting here thinking, I don't need to invest in the time to do this, well, I would highly disagree. And maybe Val has some information to add into that.
I do. And I'm glad you brought that up, Alexa, because I just published a blog post yesterday on the ConvertKit blog called "Is Email Dead?" Because it's kind of this ongoing debate about, well, do I need an email list? Do I not need it? I thought email was dead. Why can't I just focus on social media? So maybe we can share that post with everyone who is watching, because it does dive into some of the more specifics of
Definitely
what works and what doesn't. But we'll talk about that a little bit today. So let's start with getting your first 100 email subscribers. Is that a good place to start?
Let's do it.
Okay. So the vast majority of my revenue in the last 3 years is directly tied to my email list. Like I said, I have sold services and products both at the same time and at different times. So I can tell you without a doubt that my email list has given me the opportunity to grow my business, to hire team members, to take time off. 2 years ago, I took 3 months off to I just had a baby and had a nice maternity leave because I was able to support myself through my email list. So email's a great avenue for growing your revenue. Let's see. Why is my little next key is not working here? Hold on. There it goes. I don't know what happened to my keyboard. So I'll just scroll down. Okay, so why email? Well, Alexa already mentioned a few of these things. It's not, okay, I'm just going to keep scrolling. So why email? Well, consistent, predictable audience growth is number one. It's without a doubt the one place you can see really consistent audience growth over time. It has the highest conversion rate of any platform. So conversion rate means dollars per send. In that post that I put up yesterday, and this was a study done in 2015, so it's fairly recent, but something like $12.41 on average earned from an email sent about a product for sale or a service for sale versus 60 cents for a Facebook post.
Wow.
And so, the conversion rate being like how much money you can earn from the people. And like you said, they're the people who really want to be on your email list. They've signed up. They have taken a little extra effort. It takes more effort to put your email address into a box than to click like, right? So, so they're people who really want to be there, and they're your first customers. And anytime you launch anything. So the last thing is that you control your audience and you own your list. Like you said, Alexa, things can change anytime with these social media platforms. The great thing about having an email list is that you can contact those people on your list anytime you want. Adding your name to someone's email list is basically like giving them an invite into your living room, right? Like it's your virtual home. And we're also protective of our inboxes these days. So there are people who really want to be there. And delivery is huge. So you end up in someone's inbox, you're right in front of their face. If you post on Facebook, 16% of the people who follow your page will see that post.
If you're lucky.
Yeah, if you're lucky, right? That's the high end. And we all just went through all the changes on Instagram, where they have an algorithm now. So, it's very different than email on social media. So we won't harp on that anymore, but that's my little,
I guess I didn't need to give my disclaimer. You were going right into that.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, let me see if I can get it. There it goes. Okay, so the secret weapon, though, is really hustle. So what I'm going to teach you today is all things to put into practice. Put these tactics into place in your business. Do some of the activities that we'll talk about. Try them out. Just listening and learning. I mean, we have all been in that place. I know I have, of I'm going to go to this summit and learn. I'm going to watch this webinar. I'm going to attend this workshop. Wow, I'm so inspired. And then I never do anything with it, right? So this is an opportunity to really see an impact on the other side of what you learned today. So let's dive into it. How to get your first 100 subscribers. And we call this the 10-person rule. And like I said, this is something we're doing right now in our business. And we have a list of almost 35,000 subscribers. So it doesn't matter how many subscribers you have, you can use this tactic at any time. So the first thing you do is you write down 10 names of people you know in real life. Now, these are people who are interested in what you write about on your blog. Okay, so maybe your neighbor is someone you know in real life, but your neighbor isn't interested in what you write about. I'm going to use an example kind of throughout this time together, just for consistency's sake. And that example is if I were to start a paleo recipe website, right? I want to start a blog that's all about eating this, living a paleo lifestyle, eating paleo recipes. So the 10 names that I'm going to write down, if that's my topic, are people from my gym, family members who I've talked to about different ways of eating, some other women in my mom's group who have shown an interest in fitness or in healthy eating. So I start to think through the people I've had conversations with about the topic at hand, and I write down those 10 names. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool. So you have your 10 names. And then you're going to go to those people and you'll ask them, hey, I'm starting a new site, or I have a blog, I have a website that teaches people, and you fill in your blank. I'm starting a new site teaching people about the paleo lifestyle. Is that something you're interested in learning more about? And when you have the right 10 people, they're all going to say, yeah, I told you last week. That's, I've been looking into that. Or so you go through your 10 people, and everyone always asks me, well, how do I ask them? And it's as simple as the fact that you're talking to human beings that you know in real life. So ask them the way that you would ask them in real life. If you see them at the gym, ask them at the gym. If you see them, if there's someone you email with, like maybe it's, a cousin that you have a little email chain with, email them. If you text them, text them. But whatever you do, don't send a survey monkey survey or something to all 10 people at once, right? You want to make sure that this is a really personal conversation. And it's just casual. It's just like, hey, I'm thinking about doing this. I had a friend ask me just the other day. She said, hey, my cousin is starting a lawn care business. Do you need your yard aerated? And I was like, yeah, I do. It's just as simple as that, right? So just ask them. So when you get that yes, then say, great, I have 2 more questions for you. What is your biggest frustration with this topic? So in my paleo example, what is your biggest frustration with eating paleo or finding those recipes? And then where do you go online now to learn about that topic? So where are you seeking out information that you're looking for? So my paleo blog, I'm going to say, what is your biggest frustration with finding paleo recipes? And where do you go online now to find them? So you take those answers and you're jotting them down as you ask these questions. And you have 2 lists. So your 2 lists are the topics. So those frustrations that they shared with you go in that topics list. And you have 1 for each person. Maybe they give you more than 1, and then you have an even bigger list. But start with 1 for each person. You have your topics. And then where are they going online right now goes into your communities list. Because this is magic, especially if you are just starting a blog, or it's brand new and you're like, what the heck am I going to write about every week? You don't know what you don't know. And so you need to find out from your potential readers what they want to hear from you. And this is how you do it. So you get the topics, and then you have the communities. So now you have what you're going to write about, and then where you're going to promote what you wrote. So you take the topics. Let's say one of the frustrations for my paleo blog is, well, I am finding all these recipes, but I don't know where to buy these ingredients. Like the ingredients are a little strange, and I don't know where to buy them. And so I'm going into this paleo lifestyle Facebook group, and they tell me what the group is called. And I'm, talking to people in there, and there was a whole conversation the other day about where to buy all these ingredients. And you're like, okay, great. Well, as someone who is passionate about eating this way, I happen to know, in my little example here, I happen to know that a lot of paleo ingredients are available at Costco. So I write a blog post about, 8 paleo friendly at your local Costco. And I list it all out, and I, write my little blog post. And then I go to that community where my friend told me that she's always looking for information. And I find the conversations about the interesting, recipe items and wondering where to get them. And I participate in the conversation, and I say, hey, I actually was at Costco the other day and realized a lot of these ingredients are available there. And so I wrote it up into a blog post, and here it is. And then linking to the blog post in that conversation. So it's not just, oh, I have the answer and the blog post, but it's participating in the conversation, saying, yeah, I totally hear your frustration. I simplified it all into a blog post, and here you go. Okay, so you do that for every topic and every community. And you can mix and match. You can find a topic and a community that aren't from the same person and mix and match. But this is, now you have 10 blog post topics, and you have 10 different places to promote those blogs.
That's awesome.
So the idea here is that you're getting people onto your site, you're getting people onto your blog, and they are coming and seeing an email opt-in box, either below your blog post or in the sidebar maybe. But you want a prominent email opt-in on your website. And by answering people's questions, by helping them with their frustrations, you're setting them up to want to hear more from you. So you give them the answers to their problems, and then ask them for their email address if they want to continue to hear more.
Fantastic.
So then you take it to the next level. Okay, so does that make sense? That whole process makes sense, Alexa?
Yes, very much so.
Yeah.
It's so smart. It's so simple, and yet it's so smart.
I know. I see you taking notes, so I know that you're going to implement this.
Yes.
Okay, and I mean, like I said, I do this process on a regular basis.
Yes.
So now we're going to take it to the next level. You're getting people to your blog. You are racking up some blog posts, whether they're new blog posts on a brand new blog or new blog posts on an existing blog. This is how to go from, to your next 1,000 email subscribers in 1 week. So in order to give you this lesson, I want to introduce you to my friend, Wes Wages. So
Okay.
Wes is he's in this picture. You're like, who's this guy in front of this camera? Well, Wes is a video pro. So he's really great at teaching people how to shoot videos for their website, for their business. So we all find different needs for video, whether it's a promotional video or we want to have a video blog, or we're constantly, when we're running an online business, we want to integrate video. It's the kind of the new thing to be able to do. Well, Wes is really great at it, and he had all these blog posts all over his blog that were all about video production, different topics, but essentially all about this same main topic. So Wes took all those blog posts that were scattered around his blog, and he had his opt-in form, and his email list was growing slowly. But he took 10 of those blog posts, and he put them into this Mastering Online Video free 30-day video course. So when Wes did this, he built out a sequence. And so now I'm giving you a sneak peek inside of ConvertKit. So he built out a sequence, and this is what a sequence looks like. On the left-hand side are the 10 email headings, and then the body of the email on the right-hand side there. So he took those blogs and put them in an order that he thought was, this is the order you should really read these blog posts in, and dropped them into an email sequence, and then built that landing page that you saw. And this is on his website. You can sign up for it. His previous email opt-in was just like, hey, join my newsletter and I'll send you emails once a week. But there was no incentive to do that. So now he says, hey, would you like a free 30-day video course to help you create great videos? Yeah, I'm already on your blog. I'm reading about videos. I'm interested. Yeah, I want that email course. So then he sends it to me in this well planned out sequence. And here's the trick. It's all content that is on his blog already. Okay. It is not, a lot of people get nervous about this. Like, well, do I need to create brand new content? Aren't people going to know that it all came off my blog? And are they going to be like, this is useless? I could have found this on your blog. Here's the thing. No one knows every single post on your blog as well as you do.
And no one's going to take the time to go digging all the way
Yeah,
through
and
your
people
blog to find
love
them.
having it handed to them.
Yes, exactly.
You know, people love having it handed to them in an order that makes sense. They don't know what order to read everything in. They don't, even if they click on a category on your blog and look through that category, it's just really nice to package it all up for them and say, here, don't worry about whatever you're reading on the blog. As bloggers, we all worry about page views and things like that. I'm worried about email list, and this is a way to grow your email list. People are coming to the blog, reading about video anyways. They see the option to opt in for this free 30-day video course, and they join the email list. So when Wes put this on his site, put this opt-in on this landing page, in less than 7 days, he had 800 new email subscribers.
Wow.
Yeah, I think it was like 5 days to 800, and then he hit that 1,000 mark within a few days after that.
Wow.
So, you know, I would challenge anyone who's watching this to do exactly what Wes did. Put together an email sequence, build the opt-in for it, and see what impact it has for your email list. I can tell you my own experience building out Gmail School, that inbox organization, that free email course. And that's a 5-day course. You don't have to do 30 days. It's just a 5-day course. I took blog posts that already existed. I added a few extra pieces to it, compiled it into Gmail School, and it tripled my list.
Wow.
And it's still my biggest opt-in to date. So people sign up for it every single day.
Now, what would your suggestion be to maybe someone who is new or doesn't have as much content already created?
Yeah, absolutely. So this is as easy as, like I said, you could start with 5 emails. So once you have those 10 topics all written out, you'll start to see a theme, and you can pull those into an email sequence. So it happens pretty quickly. So this can be like on your game plan. Okay, I'm going to start with the 10-person rule. And then once I get all those topics written, I can put them into an email sequence. And then I keep writing blog posts and keep doing the 10-person rule over and over again. The biggest thing that you want to do with these sequences is make sure that it is speaking to your ideal customer, your ideal consumer, whether you run a service-based or product-based business. So the people who come to Wes's site and who he wants to work with are people who want to learn more about video. Well, he might talk about other topics on his blog. He might talk about growing a business. He might talk about, you know, books he's read or things like that. That's not, someone who's reading that is not necessarily his ideal customer. His ideal customer is someone who is interested in video. So that's why that's the topic for his email sequence. Does that make sense?
Yes, perfect sense.
Okay, cool. So there's a few ways you can create a sequence, and I think this is tying into your question that you just had. You can go through, and 10 is an arbitrary number, okay? So we just chose 10 here for this example, but you can do your 10 most popular posts. So if you've been blogging for a while, look at your Google Analytics. Find out what posts are in your top 10 most popular posts and pull those together and create that opt-in. You could do the 10 most important, which is what Wes did. Like, hey, I want you to read these posts before you do anything else. So I'm just going to put them in an email sequence for you. And then the what I wish I knew sequence is if you are someone who has a lot of experience in a particular area, I think this one's really great for like food bloggers and mom bloggers. Like, don't make the mistakes that I made. And that's what Gmail School is. Gmail School is what I wish I knew when I started my business and was managing an inbox with multiple clients and multiple people coming through it. I wish I knew these things that I put in Gmail School. So the next step, because we're just building on all of this, is content upgrades. Do you do content upgrades, Alexa?
Not yet, but I am in the process of building some of them.
And you know what? That's what I hear from everyone. So content upgrades are about to take off, and you guys listening are getting like a head start on it. You're going to start seeing them, and it's likely, a lot of people say, what's a content upgrade? And I'll show you, but it's quite likely that even if you don't know what they are, you've probably opted into one.
Right.
So a content upgrade is a piece of content that exists after a blog post that enhances that blog post. So they look like a lot of different things. They're printables, they are checklists, they're swipe copy, they're worksheets. They are a lot of different things. So let me just pull this out here. Tools is a great content upgrade. So if you write about you know, running an online business, a tools list, like these are the tools I use to run my business. Content upgrades, as long as it relates back to the post that they're reading, then it's a viable content upgrade. So if you're a podcaster, you could do like an audio transcript for your content upgrade on your on your podcasts. You could do a related piece of content. So you could say like, hey, here's, maybe you do my paleo blogger could do eight, eight, eight ingredients you can buy for paleo recipes at Costco. And then the related upgrade could be, here's 10 more things that you can buy at Costco. Or I could do a shopping checklist for that post, right? So there's a lot of different things you could do for a content upgrade. So going through, again, looking at those top posts, or even challenge yourself to add a content upgrade to like a post every month or 2 posts every month. I will tell you, when I went through my own blog and added content upgrades to my most popular posts, and then I started adding content upgrades to the posts that I knew my audience would really love. So since I teach about organization and marketing in Facebook groups, any of the posts on my blog that are about Facebook have a content upgrade to them, because I'm drawing people to my blog who are interested in marketing their business in Facebook groups. And then they're reading this post about Facebook groups. And then I have a content upgrade. So they want to join my email list to get that content upgrade. And it's a way to give back. So it's not about adding more work to their plate. But that's the thing with content upgrades. You want it to be something that is going to take work away from them. So when you say, hey, one of the content upgrades I have is swipe copy for canned responses. So when you have it, and that's again an email related content upgrade. So you have all these canned responses that you could possibly have in your ready to go in your inbox. And I have a whole blog post about that. You've read the whole blog post, you love it, and you're like, oh man, I just really want to be able to use these and not have to come back to my website. So they get a PDF with a swipe copy, which is essentially like swipe copy is like Mad Libs for your business, right? So I feel like your gears are turning about all the different content upgrades you could be putting on your site.
Absolutely. And what I was thinking was, a few months ago, I guess, one of my mentors, I think Julie Stoyan, she's one of your people.
Yeah.
She was telling me about how important this was to do. And at the time, it seemed so overwhelming to think of having a different content upgrade for every single post. But now that you break it down, it's funny how just a tiny little suggestion makes things so more, I can challenge myself to do 2 posts a month. I think I can do
like 2 posts a month. And the other thing is, it doesn't have to be something unique for every single post.
That's true.
That's the beauty of it. And you could say, maybe you cover 4 big topics on your blog, and then you maybe talk about a few other little things. But let's say you cover kind of 4 main topics. You could have a content upgrade for each of those topics and link that at the bottom of each post that falls into that topic, right? So you don't have to have a perfectly unique piece of content for every single time. Now, if it's something like an audio transcript, that is going to be incredibly unique to that particular thing, right? Or printable. But yeah, you can absolutely have a more generalized content upgrade as long as it relates back to the blog post.
Sure.
So the way that it works is someone reads through your blog post. At the bottom of that blog post, there's a form and an opt-in form, and it talks about that content upgrade. And they just enter their name and their email address. And then through ConvertKit, you get that PDF or whatever that content is delivered to them in their inbox. So it's like, give me your email address, I will give you this content upgrade. Because it is a little bit of extra work.
Yeah.
So you want to make sure that they're actually interested in getting it.
Sure.
Okay, cool. So let's talk about some automation rules, because automations, it's like one of the least sexy sounding words, but it's totally sexy because it saves you tons of time. And I just think this is the most amazing thing. So this is where we really stand out at ConvertKit, and I'm going to show you how. So the first one is that you can sell with email sequences. So we talked about Wes's email sequence. That's a free email sequence. Well, you can also sell with email sequences. So this is an email sequence that Nathan Barry, who's the founder of ConvertKit, has. He wrote a book called Authority.
Mhm.
And on his sales page for Authority, he offers a sample chapter. That's his content upgrade. If you've read through the whole sales page and you're like, oh, I'm kind of interested in this, you can opt in to get a sample chapter of the book. So you can read your sample chapter, and then you end up on this sequence where he's selling you on actually grabbing the whole book, right?
Uh-huh.
So there's 3 keys, though, to making a sale through an email sequence. You don't want to just go in on the first email and like, hey, want to buy this thing? It's kind of like, I always refer to it as if you see someone across the street and they like turn and smile at you and you just like walk over to them and ask for $10. It's
Yeah.
so awkward, right? And it's the same thing. We feel like because we're behind our computer screens, we forget that we're dealing with actual human beings. So
Right.
in order to make a sale from someone, someone has to trust you to buy from you. They have to want to buy. They have to have that desire. And then you have to pitch them. They have to know the thing is for sale, right?
Sure.
So in this sequence that Nathan has set up for Authority, he spends 5 emails building trust and desire. Now, there's no magic number around this number of emails, right? Like this is just 7 or 8 or whatever. No, you can do it in any length of time you want to do it, but this is just his example here. So he spends 5 emails teaching you more about Authority, more about, so Authority is a book that's all about self-publishing. So he teaches you more about self-publishing, why you should be a writer, how to market your book. He continues teaching throughout this sequence. Then he pitches you. He says, hey, at this point, you know, you're pretty interested. I want you to know that you can actually buy my book, because people get the free chapter, they're reading, they're going through this email sequence, and you know, we have a million things flying at our faces every single day. They might actually forget that you could buy the book. So he reminds them, hey, you can buy that book, by the way. And then he keeps teaching them, because the last thing you want to do is pitch someone and then walk away.
Right.
You want to keep that relationship going. So then he gives them more educational content. And then he does a final sales pitch before they roll into his regular email list. So one final opportunity to say, hey, by the way, if you didn't get the book, now's your chance, right?
Right.
So the beautiful thing about selling through an email sequence is that it's automated to when they join your list. So no one's coming in and automatically getting a sales pitch right off the bat because you're just sending out emails like you might do in MailChimp.
Right.
They're getting a sequence over time that's dripped to them. It's perfectly timed to each subscriber. So they go through that whole sequence every single time. The second automation is advanced onboarding. And this, you mentioned this really briefly at the very beginning, and this is my favorite thing. So you can ask your subscribers questions to learn what they're interested in. I was talking to a mom blogger, and she covered homeschooling on her blog. She covered like all natural housekeeping, so you know, different recipes for cleaners and things like that. She talked about marriage on her blog, and then she talked about like general motherhood stuff. So she sent an email to her list that said, hey, which of these 4 things are you most interested in? And when they clicked on one of those things, they got a tag inside of ConvertKit. So now she has on her email list, she has everyone tagged of who's interested in which topic. So then she sets about the process of writing ebooks that she can sell to people who have shown an interest in that topic. So she had a book about housekeeping and some all-natural recipes. She had a book about homeschooling. She didn't have a book about marriage. And the majority of her subscribers were clicking on that they were most interested in talking about marriage.
Go figure.
Right?
It's
So
always
now
what you
she's
don't
going to
think.
go write that book.
Right.
But she wouldn't have known that. She wouldn't have known to write the book had she not sent that email. So this is my favorite thing that you can do in ConvertKit. The next thing is that you can trigger actions with a link. So So going back to Nathan's example of authority, this is an example. This image right here is our automations inside of ConvertKit. So when Nathan sends those emails out and somebody clicks on the link that says, go here to get your copy of authority, they get a tag that says that they're interested in authority. And I did this when I launched my Growing with Groups program. Anytime somebody clicked on the sales page from an email that I sent, they got a tag that said they were interested in growing with groups. So then I was able to send more targeted emails to those people, because when they became customers, they got a tag too. So that's the fourth one, is that you can set up another tag for customers. So you can tag them when they're interested, when they've gone to the sales page. And then when they actually make the purchase, you can tag them again as purchased. So what's really cool about all of this is that you can exclude your customers from pitch emails. So you can send emails to just the people who have shown interest in that particular topic or product. And you can exclude the people who've bought it, because there's nothing more annoying than getting an email after you've bought something that says, hey, want to buy this thing? And you're like, I already did, thanks. So you can exclude customers from your pitch emails. And the last thing that's cool about it is that you can actually do a downsell at the end of a launch, or maybe it's just like your last push for a little period, because sometimes launches don't close. Like say you have an ebook that you want to just be selling all the time, and Growing with Groups, I sell all the time, but I do go through launch periods with it. And the downsell is sending a final offer to everyone who is tagged as interested, but is not tagged as a customer. They haven't purchased it yet. So you could offer extended payment plans. You could offer a light version of the course. So you have a lot of options. It could be any number of things, but you could offer them a call with you to get on the phone and ask any questions that they might have. So that last push can really make all the difference.
Val, are you going to go through some of the logistics of how you physically how you set these things up inside?
Well, yeah, we don't have a ton of time to do that today, but we absolutely. So there's a weekly workshop every week at ConvertKit. So it's every Thursday at 3 p.m. Eastern.
Okay.
And it's at convertkit.com/learn. You can sign up. And if you can't attend it live, you can always watch the replay, but it's every single Thursday. Matt, who, by the way, did those amazing little sketch notes in our slides earlier, he goes through exactly how to do all of these things and walks you through the program. So if these things are interesting and you're like, oh, I do want to learn exactly how to do that, hop on the workshop with Matt so you can keep learning. And you can do that without joining ConvertKit. Or you can join us, because the cool thing is that none of these things are possible with Aweber, MailChimp, GetResponse, some of these other tools. Well, here's the thing. They're possible, but it's like hacking the system to make it happen. And I don't know about you guys, but I put a pretty high price tag on my time. And I'd rather have a system that's set up to do these things from the beginning than have something that I have to spend hours trying to figure out how to make it work.
Amen.
So normally, like we mentioned earlier, Infusionsoft is required to get this level of automation, but Infusionsoft is ridiculously expensive.
Yeah.
And you need a consultant to run it for you, because it's very confusing. They call it Confusionsoft for a reason. And you don't need a consultant to run ConvertKit. It's the power of Infusionsoft, but easier to use than MailChimp. And, if you check it out, you can, this page, convertkit.com/pricing, you can scroll through this little slider here where it says 3,000 subscribers. It's a little slider, and you can scroll up and down and see, what you'd pay every month. But you actually, because you guys are attending this summit, we're giving you a month for free.
Yay.
So, yeah, and, you don't have to, Alexa's going to give you guys the link so you can get your free month. but you don't have to pay for your first month at all. So that's the other cool thing. Come to a workshop, learn from Matt, learn the exact step-by-steps, and then get your free month and get things set up so that you can do it yourself. Because ConvertKit was built for professional bloggers and authors by professional bloggers and authors. Like you said, I'm a blogger, still am. Nathan is an author and a blogger, and he was the founder of the company. So, so I'm just stoked to be able to be in a position where I can share such a powerful tool with audiences like yours, Alexa,
Mm-hmm.
because bloggers and authors need all the help we can get, right?
Absolutely. And I mean, a lot of us write on different topics. So, I mean, it's so important to be able to tag and move people um, to different lists and everything. It's not
Yeah.
like I only sell socks and everybody who gets on my list is going to be interested in socks. I mean, there's so many different topics. So,
Yep. When you have a number of different topics, being able to tag them, and the problem in MailChimp is that you get people on lists, which is cool, and then you can send them specific emails to those lists, but you might have people on multiple lists.
right.
And that quickly adds up to that magic MailChimp number of 2,000 subscribers where you start paying for it.
Well, and also they're getting duplicate content.
And they get duplicate content. And the great thing about ConvertKit is if you are hitting close to that 2,000 number, ConvertKit counts your subscribers once. So
awesome.
it's one subscriber, and then they have all those tags. So what happens a lot of times is people say, oh, well, I have 3,000 people on my MailChimp list. And they come over to ConvertKit and they actually have 1,000 people on their list. And so they end up paying a lot less. They think, oh, well, I would be on the $49 a month plan, and I don't know that I can afford that, but they actually end up on the $29 a month plan. So it's much more affordable. And, the biggest thing that I hear over and over again is, well, I have MailChimp for free. Why would I switch to something that I'm paying for? And I think it's like, my analogy is it's like saying you're going to go for a run versus like paying a trainer to run with you.
Mm-hmm.
If you just say you're going to go for a run, you might not run. You might sit and watch Netflix. But if you pay a trainer, you're going to show up and you see the results. Right. So and I say this not as an employee of ConvertKit, but as someone who has done this in my own business in several different places, not just my email list, but a lot of different places. When you invest in a certain area, you do the work to make sure that you pay off that investment, mm-hmm. right? So if you are an author and you sell ebooks and you invest in your email marketing, you're going to set up your email marketing so that it sells more books for you to help you cover the cost of the email marketing system, right?
Absolutely.
When you invest in any area, you see, oh gosh, I got to figure out how I'm going to pay for this. And so then you put your work in.
Right. Well, I know we have a couple of people, we have some people that have been watching us through this whole thing. So if any of you guys have questions, you can enter them into our Google Hangout comment area.
Oh, cool.
And Val can answer those for you.
Yeah,
and if not,
I'm more than happy.
And while they're talking about that, we will have this posted on the Career Beyond blog website, and I will get the link up there as well so that everyone can get their month free and try it out and check things out.
And if you happen to go through the regular ConvertKit page, like if you're like, I don't want to wait for the link, I actually already signed up while we were talking, then just shoot a note to support@convertkit.com and let them know that this is why you signed up, that you were part of the summit, and we'll give you that first month for free. So we'll take care of that on our end, but Alexa will have a link for you, so you don't have to worry about doing any of that. You can just go straight through that link and get your first month for free.
Awesome. Well, I don't see any questions popping up, so you must have given all the information people needed to know.
I know. Well, and I feel like a lot of times I just get so excited and it feels a little bit like drinking water from a fire hose.
Yeah,
Because we covered a lot today. So if questions come up later on, or if you're like, because that's what always happens to me, I watch something and then the opportunity for questions is there and I blank. And then as soon as we hang up, I have 5 questions.
sure.
Then feel free to email us at support@convertkit.com and we'll answer those questions for you. More than happy to answer those questions that are anything about email marketing, even if it's not ConvertKit related. We're more than happy. We want to see you guys succeed. You are a very special breed of people, and I say that because I am one of you. And there's nothing more that I want to do than to help bloggers succeed and make a living from their blog. And doing that through email marketing is the most powerful way to do it.
Totally agreed. And I want to say, if you're watching live right now and you joined us late, make sure you go back and watch the replay, because Val gave a really good strategy for figuring out for the steps to figuring out what type of content to write and how to build your sequences and all of that stuff. So do make sure you go back to the beginning of her presentation and catch up on all of that, because I've been doing this for a while and I'd never heard this particular strategy before, and I will definitely be implementing it to grow my list.
Well, and I'm
quickly.
excited to see what happens for you from it. That's the cool thing, is when somebody hears about the 10-person rule for the first time and then puts it into practice, it's amazing. I mean, Nathan got an email the other day from someone who had read through his copy of Authority, and he said, okay, I took what you said and I implemented it, and I had a $40,000 launch for my ebook.
Wow.
And Nathan was like, wow, congratulations, that's amazing. And the guy, and so then it was like an email back and forth, and then the guy came back the next day and he said, oh no, it wasn't like $40,000 in total, that was on day 1. I'm at 70 now.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Well,
So
we can all dream of those kind of glories and grandeurs, right?
here's the thing, is that's the power of implementing something step by step, just as it was taught to you. And that's exactly what he did. He was like, all right, I'm going to put this exact method to the test. And so I would challenge you guys to put these exact methods to the test. See what happens to your email list when you do the 10-person rule, and when you create an email sequence and put that opt-in form up, and when you start doing content upgrades.
Yeah. Well, great. I appreciate you taking the time out today so much for, spending the time to go through and teach us that. You've provided a ton of information.
Absolutely. I'm happy to be here. Thank you for having me, Alexa.
Thank you. All right.